What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 4 on my road to 700 pounds. This week is a deload week, so basically what that means is I'm taking the weight down about 75% or so. So today we got versus last week it was just 465 for a set. This week on bench it's just 350. So what that basically does is it gives my body a way to still work out and be active, get some blood flow into the muscles, but still it's active recovery. So I'm not just sitting around dormant on the couch eating bonbons only. I'm still probably going to do that, but anyways, so basically what I do this week that's a little bit different than every other week is I still bring the intensity. I do not take a pre-workout this whole week. That gives my body a chance to kind of recover from the excess caffeine. Gives myself a chance to build up a tolerance a little bit, so that when I go forward I don't have to add a scoop every week or anything crazy like that. My pre-workout still stays the same. It's Animal Fury, a scoop of Animal Fury, a scoop of Animal Rage, and that's it for every workout. Typically, unless it's like shoulder day, typically I don't take a pre-workout, but that's 3 times a week that I take a pre-workout. But deload weeks don't take one at all. I do take a deload once every 4th week. That is either it's pre-prescribed, so I don't have to feel like I need a deload going into it. This week I don't feel like I need a deload at all, but I'm sure that even though it's 350, it's just going to feel weird because in my mind I want to bring the intensity. My intention is to bring the intensity, but for me it's just 350, so it's really hard to fight that an urge to want to go heavier, obviously, but it's the smartest thing to do. It's kept me healthy, it keeps my shoulders healthy, it keeps my chest healthy. My whole body, I take a deload regardless of what I'm doing. So either later in the week I'm going to do squats and deadlifts, they're still lighter, but it keeps me being able to progress every single week like you've seen. I wouldn't go as far as saying that's my secret to success, but it's definitely one of the pieces to the puzzle. My diet stays the same on a deload week. It is a little harder to get the same exact amount of calories in. I don't count calories, but as far as getting in the same number of meals, the same number of the same size portions, I'm just not as hungry on a deload week because I'm not burning as many calories. So I do have to focus on making sure that I'm eating the exact same thing during a deload week as I did the week before. But that's about it. So without further ado, let's get on into the workout. All right, so I start every upper day or every bench day with this standard warm-up. This is something that I learned way back as a swimmer. Arm circles, small and big. Basically, they're very simple, very elementary, but they do wonders for getting some blood flow into some stiff, sore muscles. If you've been sitting around stagnant, obviously for over the weekend, I didn't do any kind of chest or shoulder stuff other than just everyday life. And so just to kind of get the blood flow and get some stuff moving in here before I touch the bar, do these. Basically it's about 10 to 20 revolutions each direction, so it ends up being in between 40 and 160 or so revolutions depending on how many I want to do. But then I go into my stretch band, and this is just to kind of add a little resistance. I do this chest pull apart. I do it behind the head. I do it with triceps. I've been known to wrap it around the squat bar and do some fly movements with it, but basically it's all on feel, 100% on feel at this point. There's no set number of reps. I do it until I feel like it starts to get a little uncomfortable. That's when I know that I probably, if I do too much more, I'm actually working the muscle versus warming it up. And I learned this a long time ago, so I continue to do it. This is part of my daily regimen for the most part. I will do this sitting in front of the TV. I will stress this time and time again. I've got several videos out on this particular warm-up, but I'll just show it to you here since it's a deload week. But I will swear by this. If I start to have a tweak, this helps tremendously. Obviously if I've messed up something pretty bad, I won't do that. I'll pretty much ice it, and then once it starts getting to the point to where I can work with it, I'll start working with the bands and rotations. But so I'm going to show you my whole bench day right here, or not whole bench day, but whole main set in one frame. Basically, start with the bar, add a plate, and typically I will add a plate all the way up to about 500, 585 if I'm going for 6 or more.
Today I'm working up to 75% of what last week was, is sitting about 465. So working up to 350 today. This is a warm-up weight for me, so just enough weight to basically not be sitting around for the whole week. You know, like I said earlier, I don't want to be sitting around on the couch eating bonbons all week. I want to actually get up, be active, go through my motions. I am creating very healthy habits in my bench workouts, and it goes for squat, deadlift as well. When you get into a routine, you want to keep that routine. When you find a niche that works for you, you want to keep doing it. When it comes to a deload, it's no different. I just lower the weight down. So I'm literally doing the exact same motions, same speed, same intensity. I'm just at a lower weight. So basically when I go in and add 100 pounds or 150 pounds next week, my body is used to the repetition, the motions, the speed, the explosion. The only difference is it's heavier weight. This is literally down to the science, training each muscle fiber, that every time that I am wanting to use it, it's supposed to act the same way every single time. Through thousands and thousands of repetitions, this will become second nature, and that is why my bench technique and you know, it basically, I don't want to say flawless because I definitely have this, you know, I basically have you know, flaws of course in my technique, but when I go through and actually do my workouts, they will look the same every single day. So that being said, I can analyze where my true weak points are, and it's not just on a given day that I had a certain you know, my right arm went up slower than my left arm kind of thing. It's workout after workout after workout. I can sit there and study where my weak points are and hammer them and literally work on them to make them the strong points, which is the whole point. And that's how, you know, in a nutshell, obviously rest, recovery, all the other things that come into play, but this is how I've maintained a very steady progress rate over the last few years at a very high level bench, and without injury, because I'm able to go back and methodically study my videos. I know what everything is supposed to feel like, and honestly, that's when, you know, when somebody says they're going off a feel, that's what they're referring to, is the fact that they have done it so many times that they know what it feels like when it's wrong, and that it instantly alerts them, and they can analyze it right away. So moving on, so I've got my first working set here, and this is 350 on the bar. I've got 5 reps, 2 sets of this. Notice how I'm literally treating it just like it was 500, 600 pounds. It's not, basically it looks like it may be moving slow because of you know how much weight's on it, but if I were to cover up that weight, it should look exactly the same as when I put 500 on there for the same number of reps. Taking a little break here. The weight being 75% of last week, I obviously do not need to take as much rest, so I'm not going to waste any extra time, you know, doing a 10-minute rest between my top sets. I took probably, you know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes here, chalked up a little bit, sat right back down, and went ahead and wrapped up my main bench sets. Next week, when I'm on my top sets, the time lapse between any given top set where I'm at my working weight could be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. The reason for that is I'm not in the gym for cardio. I am in the gym for strength. So if I need to wait 30 minutes, which is a bit extreme, but if I needed to wait that long between my main sets to be able to knock them out with perfect form and intensity, then so be it. On average, I wait about 5 to 10 minutes between each super heavy working set. Whether that be, you know, for the day it may be 465, or 3 or 4 months later that might be 605. I wait a little longer, obviously, with heavier weight. Same leg drive, same everything. So, you know, pertaining to deload weeks, I do get a little more rest as far as not so much sleep. I get the same amount of sleep no matter what, but I get a little more rest because I'm not in the gym as long. This whole workout took a little bit less than an hour, which means for the whole week I'm in the gym less than 4 hours for all 4 workouts. This is 2 sets of dips, 12 reps each, and this is just 25-pound plate. These are obviously pretty light, still going through the motion, still pausing at the top of each rep, getting a good stretch on the tricep at the bottom and a real good contraction at the top, just to work it the exact same way. Deloads, if you guys don't already know, I take one every 4th week, regardless of how I feel. This week I could have probably done without it, but it will set me up perfectly for going heavy over the next few weeks until the next deload. So I'm basically taking a rest before I need it to ensure that if I did need it this week and didn't take it, I'm not looking back going, oh, I wish I took one. This is 3 plates. I'm doing 5 plates normally. I'm working on explosiveness here. It is extremely light, so instead of grinding it out or going slow and methodical or really working on time under tension, my goal here is to hit every single rep as fast as I possibly can, because I'm going to try to do the exact same speed with 4 or 5 plates. Even though it may slow down quite a bit, the intensity is still there, and that's compensatory acceleration training right there. So moving on, got a few sets here of lat pull downs. This is a neutral grip. This is 170. I gave these an RPE 7. My back is a little bit tight for some reason. It may just not be 100% from the previous week, which you know, even though it's an RPE 7, it's not a big deal at all, but it can be an indicator that for deadlift day, maybe I just didn't have enough rest to recover fully. So had I been doing the whole stack on this particular day, it may have fatigued me a little bit more than average. You know, I don't want to go as far as saying it would, you know, cause a tweak or an injury, but you never know, and that's the whole point of taking a deload. You don't know what you don't know. It's rather to be, you know, cautious. Better to be cautious than not. And you know, I could look at my track record and see the number of injuries that I've had, and that's basically 0. And deloads are a major component to that. Now, knock on wood, you know, I don't really believe in luck and all that kind of stuff, but you know, there's a small component there of the unknown. You never know, but I feel very safe and secure with my training and how it's going to continue that progress. So last thing of the day, I'm not doing the Juarez Valley 20 today. I've got a set of flies here, and this is 70 pounds, so I've basically got about 37 or so on each side, so a little bit more than that. But getting a really good stretch on the pecs there, kind of getting them basically warm, because the bench and everything else just warmed them up a little bit. I'm not really working the muscle too terribly much this week, but this is basically it. This is it for the bench day. Like I said, I think I was out of here in about 52 minutes or so, which is a record. Normally it's about 4 hours, but next week will be a whole different story, and I'll be plenty ready and rested for it.
All right, you guys, that's a wrap. So feeling pretty good. Everything was obviously pretty light today. Going to get some stuff done outside the gym. I use deload weeks as a way to kind of get some stuff done around the life in general, around the family, business, kind of get some things taken care of. And looking forward to getting heavier next week. Probably be 485 to 500 range for, I would say, about 5 to 6 reps. Starting to get a little heavier, getting a little bit more excited. How everything is turning out, feeling great. But please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for bigger and better things, and make sure to follow me on Instagram @SwimHack. See ya.